Hey, welcome to The Explainer. What we do here is pretty simple. We take source material and transform it into a clear, visual breakdown. And that's exactly what we're about to do.
So let me ask you, what do you think really happens inside a town meeting? I mean, on the surface, they can seem, well, pretty routine, right? Maybe even a little dry. But here's the thing. They're actually the place where a community's entire character gets debated, defended, and ultimately shaped. And it's usually all thanks to some incredibly passionate volunteers.
So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to be a fly on the wall for just 1 hour with the Grass Valley Historical Commission. We're diving into a single meeting from January 13th, 2026. And by just looking at their agenda, you'll get to see the real-world challenges and, the quiet triumphs that come with trying to preserve a town's local history.
All right, first up, a tale of a tile. Now, I know that sounds small, but trust me, this little issue perfectly captures where the work of preservation so often begins. Literally, right at the front door.
Okay, so here's the scene. The first item on the agenda is a request to retile the entryway at 126 Mill Street. See, the new owners of this historic building, they wanted to replace some old, kind of worn-out clay tiles. Their plan was to put in this really nice black and gold penny tile, which they felt was way more in line with the whole historic vibe of Mill Street.
So, the commission takes a look. They check it out. Okay, the proposed tile is porcelain, so it's durable. That's good. The style, yeah, it's pretty similar to a neighboring business, so it fits right in. And the building colors were already given the green light from the town's historic palette. So, what's the conclusion? It's a wonderful improvement. The verdict was a quick, enthusiastic, unanimous yes. And boom, just like that, item 1 is done. A quick, satisfying win. And this is a perfect snapshot of what the commission does. It's not about being the no police, it's about guiding small, thoughtful changes. It's about helping property owners make updates that really honor the town's history, one little detail at a time.
Okay, so that's bringing history to life on a small scale. But how do you go from one storefront to getting the whole community excited? An approved tile is a great start, for sure, but the real goal, the big mission, it's making people actually care about that history.
And that's because these volunteers, they're not just gatekeepers, they're storytellers. Just look at what they're cooking up. They've got their annual History Day on May 9th, where they open up cool historic sites like the North Star Powerhouse. They're running walking tours, and this is the really cool part, they're developing a brand new audio tour you can get right on your smartphone, all funded by the Arts Council and featuring professional voice actors. That's pretty awesome.
But you knew there was a but coming, right? All these amazing, passion-filled projects are about to run smack into two classic obstacles that every volunteer group knows all too well: money problems and red tape.
First up, you've got the plaque problem. Okay, so several historic landmarks have been approved for these official plaques, which is great. The catch? There's literally no money in the budget for the traditional, beautiful bronze ones. They're just crazy expensive. They looked at a cheaper aluminum option, which is about 30% less, but you can tell, they're not exactly thrilled about it. It feels like a compromise.
And one commissioner really puts their foot down, saying, I want these plaques to be here long after I'm gone. We need to hold out for quality. And that right there says it all. For them, this isn't just about a sign. Preservation is about permanence. They'd rather wait for a proper budget, than compromise on something that's supposed to last for generations.
Okay, so that's the plaques. Next up, banners. The commission went out and did the hard work of fundraising, and they were super successful. They raised about $1,600 from the community. That was enough to cover the entire production cost for these cool historical banners downtown.
So what's the problem? I mean, they had the money, they had the designs, they were totally ready to go. But then, just as they were about to pull the trigger, a new city policy comes out of nowhere and just changes the entire equation.
Okay, so here's the snag. The city implemented this new universal per-pole fee. So the commission's plan, a one-time production cost of about $1,600, is suddenly out the window. Now they're looking at a reoccurring annual fee of about $150 per pole. For their 27 banners, that's a new bill of roughly $2,700 every single year. They have to raise that money all over again, year after year.
Yeah, you can almost feel the air go out of the room. One commissioner just asks, where did that monkey wrench come from? And that question really sums it up. This sudden policy shift completely blindsided them. All that hard work, that successful fundraising, it's suddenly not enough. The whole project, and you can bet their morale, is just stuck in limbo.
So faced with all these frustrations, the plaques, the banners, you might think they'd just throw in the towel. But they don't. Instead, they pivot.
They start looking for a real solution, a proactive, long-term strategy that could actually incentivize preservation across the whole city. And this leads them to something called the Mills Act. The City Council actually asked them to look into it. Basically, it's a California state program that gives cities a powerful tool: the ability to offer pretty significant property tax relief to people who own qualified historic buildings, as long as they promise to take care of them.
So, how does this actually work? Well, it's pretty clever. First, the city and a historic property owner sign a 10-year preservation contract. Then, the county assessor comes in and reassesses the property, but they use a special formula based on income potential, not just what it would sell for. This usually means the property taxes are calculated on a new, lower value. And here's the best part: the contract automatically renews each year. It aligns everyone's interests, the owner saves money, and the city gets a long-term commitment to preservation.
And this is so important. It shows the commission isn't just reacting to problems anymore. A tile here, a banner there. They're thinking strategically. They're trying to build a sustainable framework for the future preservation in their town. It's like they're shifting from playing defense to playing offense.
All right, so that's the unseen work of preservation. After sitting in on just this 1 hour with them, what have we learned? What's the real takeaway about what these volunteers are doing?
Well, it's a constant juggling act, isn't it? One minute they're approving tiny, crucial details like tiles. The next, they're planning huge community events like History Day. They're fighting for quality, struggling with funding for plaques, getting totally sideswiped by red tape with the banners, and then they're diving deep into complex state policy, like the Mills Act. It's a little bit of everything.
And what this all really shows is that a town's character, that feeling you get when you walk down a historic main street, it doesn't just happen by accident. It is actively protected and maintained, day in and day out, through the slow, passionate, and let's be honest, often thankless work of people exactly like this.
So, that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. Who are the unseen volunteers protecting the history in your town? It's a question worth thinking about because their work, one meeting, one tile, one banner at a time, is shaping the very place you call home.